Mr. Speaker, and thank the gentleman from California for yielding and for his leadership. You know, Mr. Speaker, when the President started these negotiations with Iran, I think when you look at the fatal flaw in the beginning of those negotiations, they should have started with one basic premise. And that premise, Mr. Speaker, ought to have been to finally force Iran to dismantle their nuclear weapons program. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, that was not the objective of these negotiations. In fact, if you look, it seemed there was more interest on making sure that a deal could be reached that China and Russia and Iran could finally agree to. And the problem is, when you look at the fatal flaw of that negotiation, what has it yielded? And why is there such strong opposition across the country from members of both parties to this agreement? I think most Americans recognize that Iran cannot be trusted with a nuclear weapon. Just look at their own rhetoric. Just this week, the Ayatollah himself led the chant, "Death to America." These are the people that the President is negotiating with to ultimately end up, at the end of this deal, with the ability to develop not just a nuclear bomb, but a nuclear arsenal, Mr. Speaker. Just look at the tenets of the deal itself. One of the conditions in the deal actually allows Iran to have more than 5,000 centrifuges. If they comply with the deal, they can keep more than 5,000 centrifuges to enrich uranium. It took Pakistan about 3,000 centrifuges to develop their bomb. And Iran will have over 5,000 centrifuges if they comply with the deal, let alone if they cheat. And we know the history there. Let's look at other components of the deal, Mr. Speaker. In this deal, if there's a site that's undeclared and our intelligence along the way over these next few years exposes the fact that there's something there that we want to go look at, that we question whether or not they're cheating, Mr. Speaker, we have to get permission under this deal and wait over 24 days. Imagine all of the things that can be hidden in 24 days if we have the intelligence that they're cheating. How could this be part of a deal that we would agree to that's in the American best interest? Ultimately, what we have to come to an agreement on is what's in the best interest of the United States of America, and we also ought to be concerned about our allies, Israel, and the other Arab states in the region that have deep, grave concerns about this. Others that are indicating that this will start a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. Within 10 years, you could have nearly a half a dozen states in the Middle East with nuclear arms. This isn't the way we ought to go. And then, of course, there are the secret side deals. And we've seen evidence now that there are secret side deals that the President won't disclose.
I yield the gentleman an additional minute.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, under the law that President Obama himself signed, the law actually says the President has to disclose to Congress and the American people all information related to this deal, including, and I quote, side agreements. Side agreements. And now we're hearing at least 2 secret side agreements exist. One that allows Iran to actually do their own inspections. Mr. Speaker, these are the people that this deal is going to allow to inspect their own nuclear facilities. The President ought to release to the American people the details of these secret side agreements right now, or withdraw this entire proposal. President Reagan said trust but verify. Under this agreement, President Obama is saying trust Iran to verify. You cannot allow this to go through. I urge all of my colleagues to reject this deal. The President lays out a false premise that it's this deal or war. I would suggest, Mr. Speaker, there's a much different approach, a much better approach, and that is to go get a better deal that protects the interests of the United States of America for today and for decades to come. I yield back the balance of my time.